Okay, this is it. We're gonna finish this Bugs Bunny project, and we're going to continue to paint the rest of his face and body and then start working on the background. So we've already done that. So now I'm gonna, use a clean brush. Got my watercolors, my cup of water, and a rag that I've been using. We're just gonna finish this up. So I'm gonna use yellow now. I'm gonna use a bright yellow in the palette. And I'm gonna start adding some of the yellow to parts of its face. And you can go right up against the blue, which you'll get green. And I'm going to just be very careful around the whiskers. And I'm gonna add in between the whiskers and add a little on the cheek area. And then finish this part up. Now if you wanted to add any more color, that's solely up to you. And then for the inside of the mouth, instead of use black, I'm gonna use like this dark gray. Make sure my brush is clean. I don't wanna get it too wet because it's still a very tight space to paint. Now you can also go over this with some color pencils in some areas if you wanted to add a little bit of more color to certain parts, but I wouldn't do very much. I would just run with making it simple. Now I'm going to go into this nice dark orange, and I'm going to finish up the hairs, the eyebrows actually. Okay. There. And make sure that you've gotten all your areas. Oh, and then we've got the rest of the chest area to do. So I'm gonna go back into my yellow. Should have used my yellow while I had it on my brush, but I didn't, so that's okay. Going back, just making sure that your brush is clean. And then I'm going to go back in with the dark gray that I used on the face. That's pretty wet, so I'm going to absorb a little bit on my rag. As you can see, I'm just going up to the existing color. I'm not covering it. I want to see it. almost done with my Bugs Bunny. Okay, so I've got him all done. I like how he's looking. Now I'm gonna start thinking about my background. So as you can see in here, here's some very simple designs that are in the background. I love that it's broken up with dark and then lighter blue. You could add some other designs behind his body. It really is up to you. So you could do some kind of spiral shapes, triangles that are multicolored, just kind of flowing organic shapes in the background if you wanted to. Really, there's no right or wrong to do the background. So that can give you some kind of inspiration. So now what I'm going to use is a ruler and a pencil so that I can mark where I'm going to stop my color. So what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to very lightly just take my line going straight across, and that's going to break up the color in the background. So now I'm going to, and you can reverse it where you do light blue at the top and dark blue on the bottom. And you want the colors to be pretty vibrant. So I'm going for this really beautiful kind of indigo blue here. And I'm gonna paint this part. Now you could just draw out your patterns if you wanted, or you could go over your painting with oil pastel. That would give you some good coverage. So you could, if you wanted to add just a simple pattern, I'm gonna make like a triangle. And I'm not gonna overdo it. I'm just gonna add kind of a curve and then like a V shape. And then maybe just do a circle down here. I want it simple. I don't want it to take away from my rabbit because he's beautiful, he's colorful, and I'm happy with him. So I'm gonna do this nice deep blue. And again, you wanna be very careful when you get right up to the outline. You don't want it to disappear. You wanna see the outline of your rabbits. You have to be pretty slow when you're working right up against the object of our project, which is Bugs Bunny here. So as you can see, I can outline it first right up against the edge of my outline that I initially did, and then just paint the rest of it. And then also just going along the outline of my pattern that I made in my background. And in this case, just a simple triangle, but I'll make it very colorful. And then just paint that top section. You don't have to use blue. You could use maybe greens where you do a darker green at the top and a lighter green at the bottom. But I would just stick with one color family and make light and dark, because again, Bugs Bunny is so colorful that I don't want it to take away from the beauty of the color that we have on him already. So you want to be just very careful and use the edge of your brush and outline. Okay, and then just paint the rest. You can use a thicker brush. But since I'm using this watercolor, I like the size of this one. Just the most challenging part is painting right up next to your painted lines. But it can be done, you just have to be really patient. Okay, and then you can turn and do the other side. And you could use a ruler if it's a little challenging for you, but it's also good practice to try to paint a straight line. You may want to go in with a thinner brush. If it's too wide, just get in with a tinier brush so you can get into those hard to paint places or spots that you're working around. Okay, almost done. Okay, now another idea is you could do a complementary color. So the complement to blue would be orange, but I think I'm going to stick with the color family. And now I'm going to go in to kind of a nice sky blue for the bottom half of my painting. And actually it's pretty close to the color of the outline that I did on the rabbit. So you may want to add another coat so it doesn't look camouflaged and that you can actually see the whiskers while you're working your color around it. You may have to just go slightly darker. And you could take a thinner brush and go around your whiskers so that you can make it slightly darker so that you can still see the detail. And don't forget, you want to kind of work around your designs. And if you don't want to do designs, that's fine too. It just gives it another element to your project. So it's fun to mix it up a little bit. And if you want it a little bit darker, just give it another coat. Okay. And when you kind of outline the designs, you can use just the side edge of your brush so you have some more control over your painting. And you can just go back in and see if there are any areas that you need to touch up, even out, add to. Okay. All right. So then what you're going to do is you're going to let that dry. And you could use oil pastel for the patterns. And you can just use your rag and clean off the edge. And if you just wanted to do your patterns kind of in one color, you could do that. Or you could add more than one color. I think maybe I'll just do two on this part. And wipe off. Okay, and that's really looking great. And then kind of look at the other sections. Keep your pastels in your box. then just the last section. Okay, and like I said, see where else you can add to your piece of work, and that is it. Okay, guys, what a year it's been, but keep doing your art this summer and enjoy it and challenge yourself, and I will see you sometime soon. Okay, take care. Have a great summer. Bye-bye.